Of our videos. Dave, welcome to the show. The host of the Flat Earth podcast. Well, if anybody wanted to have a controversial subject, that would be it.
This is, when people hear about Flat Earth, they're like, this is the dumbest thing ever. I'm not looking into it at all. That was me. And the thing is, I was ignorant. And after today's show, no one's going to be ignorant unless they're willfully ignorant. So we will see. We will see. We're all brainwashed into thinking that the flat earth is something that it's not. They've brainwashed us into thinking that the flat earth is a disc floating in space. Because if you Google flat earth, you end up at the Flat Earth Society. And if you end up at the Flat Earth Society, they're going to show you images like this. We're a pancake floating with a bunch of ball planets. Not true. No flat earther thinks that. The other thing that globers is the term you were looking for. They believe they don't even understand their own model. We have one of our activists traveling the country for about 5-6 months now, and he speaks publicly, and he asks people he offers $100 for 3 simple questions, and he tells you what the first one is. How many times does the Earth spin in a day in the heliocentric model? Half the people don't even know it's once. Okay. And then other questions. What's the diameter? What's the orbiting speed? What's the distance to the sun? Nobody knows. But these are the people that are defending the thing that they don't know. And the other thing they don't know is what the flat earth model is. They don't know. So that's where it gets very interesting.
Well, knowledge is power. But now let's go back in time. Let's just say that somebody's lying to us, Dave, about whether or not we live on a globe or a flat earth. Have we been lied to before? On any other subject? Everything. On any other subject, have we been lied to before, or is this the first?
I think it was Director Casey, if I got his name right, from the CIA, that once made a statement. He said, "We'll know that our mission is complete when everything the American people believe is a lie." And they are there, mission complete. Good job. Everything is a lie. All of our history is a lie. They want us to believe that we're at the peak of intelligent civilization. We are less than a step away from idiocracy. In the 1800s, there was an advanced civilization here. They don't want us to know that, but the buildings are still here. There's buildings on top of buildings. Our Capitol building is on top of another building that's underground. Okay? Everything is a lie, and the same people that are lying to us about everything that's going on in the world, they're lying to us about the shape of the world. Why does the shape of the world matter? Right? What difference does it make? And the answer is, doesn't matter, the shape of the world. It's the lie. They want you to believe that you are spinning out of control, lost in space in this heliocentric, crazy solar system, spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, chasing the sun at 500,000 miles an hour, orbiting at 66,600 miles an hour, funny number. And somehow the stars never change. They're always the same. You go out tonight, look at the stars, go out same night next year, 10 years, doesn't matter. Every star will be in the exact same position, even though we're traveling over 4 billion miles a year in one of the directions.
Wow.
So how is that possible? I mean, drive down the road, watch how the angles of trees, everything, mountains in the distance, everything change. It's called parallax. There's no parallax ever anywhere, right? They tell you, well, we had a different North Star 40,000 years ago. Well, we just happen to live in the time where the North Star there's a star in the north that hasn't moved in all of recorded history. Crazy stuff. Are you familiar with the Georgia Guidestones?
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. So besides, I'm not talking about the message on them, which is basically the marching orders for the New World Order. It's that the Georgia Guidestones have a little hole. Did you know about this hole right here?
No, tell me about the hole, Dave.
Yeah, you look through that hole, and guess what you see? You see the star Polaris. That's our North Star, and it never moves. They've been up for over 40 years. And you do a time lapse, all the stars circle around, and they never move. How is that possible? We move 4.4 billion miles every year in just one of the directions. Okay? We're spinning too, and Polaris never moves. And the answer they give us is, it's so far away that there's no amount of motion, movement, distance that will change the parallax. you know what I say to that? Am I allowed to swear? Because it begins with a B and ends in an S. I won't swear.
Wow. Okay. Sounds like you're just a little bit opinionated there, but no, there are anomalies all over this planet. And anybody who's watched this show since 2004 will tell you how many topics that we've covered regarding these anomalies. I mean, underground cities, ancient civilizations. Somebody's been lying to us a whole lot, and that's why now I'm coming to this conclusion, Dave, you may have too, and that is, if the government or an institution tells you it's raining, then you know it's not. I mean, you default. It's the opposite of what you just default. Don't agree with it. Just default. Do the opposite, and then work your way back and see if it comes back. But don't believe
I say if you could get paid $100 for every time they tell you a lie on the news, you'd be wealthy, right? You'd be super wealthy, because most of the stuff on the mainstream news is complete and total nonsense, right? So if the Earth isn't a disk falling into, people, here are the questions that any doubters in the audience, I'm going to tell you all the questions you have. What about seasons? What about sunsets over the ocean? What about day and night? What about falling off the edge? How come no one's taken a picture of the ice wall? Didn't the Greeks figure it out 2,000 years ago? All of this is nonsense once you look at it. The problem is the hypnosis is so strong that they've convinced people to refuse to look. And it's only the ones of us that decided, I'm going to debunk flat Earth. And we didn't go, Google flat Earth, because that's all from the controllers. That's all the information, disinformation that they want us to see. You Google flat Earth, you might as well just believe in the ball. You're done, because you're not going to get anything. So what is the flat Earth? How does it work? So let me ask you a question, Daniel. We live in, and when I say flat Earth, there's hills and valleys, there's deep trenches in the ocean, there's mountains high, but the surface of the Earth is a level plane. Water accumulates where?
In the deep place.
In the lowest spot. Yeah. Water, after a rainstorm, water doesn't accumulate at the top of the hill. It flows to the bottom and it goes into the basin, right? So if you had a pond or a lake, same thing, just different sizes. You're on a boat and you sail around the lake all as well. You sail to the edge of the lake. Could you fall off the lake? No. You get to the edge of the lake. What determines the edge of the lake? Is it a low spot in the land or land that's higher than the water?
It would be a higher spot.
The land that's higher than the water. Do you know what the highest land on Earth is?
Mountain?
No. The highest continent, supposed continent.
Greenland?
It's Antarctica.
Oh, okay. That's close. I was 180
So they want us to believe that Antarctica is this continent at the bottom of a ball, but there's no pictures of Antarctica from space. That's all another problem. Okay. This is what they want us to believe, when in fact Antarctica is the container for our world pond. It is the land that surrounds the world pond. All of the water surrounds all of the continents, but all of the water is surrounded by Antarctica, highest land on Earth. It is the container of our pond. Nobody, no corporation, no country, no person is allowed to independently explore these outer lands, because if they did, they would find out that they're literally living in the Truman Show, right? Ooh. We are within a contained system. They don't want us to know that, so they put us in a prison for our minds, and that prison is the globe, right? Mm-hmm. If you knew that there was more going on, there's more land. Maybe they're hiding more land. Think about that. Maybe beyond Antarctica, with this, which could be this ring, could be this extra land. Extra land. What's another word for land? Territory. More territory. Extra terra. If somebody lived out there, you might call them an extraterrestrial. And if this is the inner space, maybe they live here in the outer space. Extraterrestrials from outer space. They're telling us what's going on. Mm-hmm. Okay. I believe that there are advanced civilizations out here, living out here. They're aware of us, but we've been put in a prison, and we're not aware of them.
Mm-hmm. A prison for your mind. Interesting you mentioned the Truman Show, because on our website, on the left side of the website, everybody, is a poll for tonight's question. And it says, is related to the topic, is the Earth flat? So your choices are flatter than a pancake, round as a ball, the Earth's a hologram, still researching, ask Truman. You just mentioned Truman. And then the final answer would be, we'll wait till after the interview. Let's see what the results are so far. Right now, Dave, we got 39% saying flatter than a pancake. It's a tie. And then 39%, 39 for round is the ball. And after that, wait till after the interview comes in at number 3. So, man, this is like the country, evenly split.
It happens. But here's the thing. For those of you that think that this is crazy, I was you, but I've left everything to press this message out. Why does this message matter? Because this is how they're getting away with everything. If you're spinning out of control, lost in space, how can you make a proper decision? How can you reclaim your true power? They don't want you to know your power, right? Mm-hmm. We are powerful beings here, and nobody has authority over us. Imagine this, Daniel. This video goes viral. 8 billion people watch it tonight. 8 billion, right? That's probably more than there are people on Earth. So everyone on Earth watches it. Okay. And everyone's like, you know what? Dave's making some points. You know, we don't have to listen to these people. All governments would instantly dissolve because they'd have no power. The only power they have is in your imagination. Okay. Mm-hmm. So here's a map of, it was a Japanese map that was found in Hawaii, 10 centuries old, showing all these other continents out here. What's going on outside of Antarctica? You know, there could be other rings with other suns. Our sun is small and close. We can get into that shortly. There could be other puddles out there. We live in one puddle. Maybe there's a billion other puddles. I don't know. Maybe we're the only puddle. Maybe there's a solid dome over us. Maybe there's an energetic dome over us. Maybe there's just an extended sky. I don't know because we can't go up there. But the liars at NASA, they're constantly lying to us. Nobody has been into space. That's a hard one. That was really hard for me. But once you look, if you catch NASA faking space once, you can unwind it to we never went to the moon.
Okay. Speaking of that, we have a video queued up. And Dave, I really don't know how it comes over there too. You might be able to see it and hear it. But let's roll this video to see if we've been lied to. And this one is called, what's it called? Where's this thing at? Moon. Oh, okay. Well, here let's just try this one right here. What we have here is the classic waving flag on the moon. Dave, why is that doing that?
So let me give you the Glober answer on that one. Is that there's a wire in the top, and when they do it, it's just the momentum, right? You can make up an excuse if you want, but when a guy walks by and the flag moves. I believe that's due to the air conditioning. You just look at the crazy, ridiculous horizon beyond these guys, right? It's, you know, then you talk about the shadows intersecting. They intersect, right? But the Globers will say that's just perspective. And but you know, just looking at the moon, I'll show you some pictures from the moon in a few moments when I share my screen. There's no way we went to the moon. No possible way.
And it's really part of the conversation tonight, because that's a huge lie, which would mean a lot of people were in on it. Are you actually able to see the video, or you just know which one I'm doing?
Oh, I see it. I see that.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, here, let me entertain you with another video we have queued up. And looks like it ain't queued up so well now, is it?
Here, let me show you a video.
Okay, hang on.
So here is a astronaut pounding something into the ground. Maybe it's a flagpole. I'm not sure.
Well,
but he dropped his hammer. Watch. He's hanging from wires. I believe he's actually has a giant balloon to make him that he's trying to move, and he can't get enough downward momentum to pick it up. Okay, he can't get it. The wire won't. And they want us to believe this. Now, it's unreal. I mean, you take they supposedly in the 1960s and 70s, they went to the moon, played golf, drove a dune buggy, and made it back to Earth, no problem. But now we have these billionaires getting 4 seconds of weightlessness in low Earth orbit, and it's the greatest thing ever. Okay? What the heck is going on there?
Wow. Here you go. Let me see if I can get this. I might have it queued up now. Let me see what I can do here. See if this thing plays. All right, where the hell is it? Still trying to figure it out here. Man, that's pretty good. Your video's coming through pretty quick. Well, while we're looking at that, let me see if I can just
No problem. This video I'm showing right here is the lunar lander and orbiter orbiting around this ridiculous moon. This is just a simple model that anybody can do. The motions on it are impossible. There's supposedly two guys.
Hang on. Here it is. Here it is. Hang on, David. Okay, so here we got. I think they're on the moon.
That's one small step for man.
And he steps off. All right, looking good. Looking good.
Giant leap.
Whoa! Wait a minute, Dave.
I guess you want to do it again.
I believe
What?
it's real.
They ain't on. They're not on the moon.
No, but this is. They're gonna say this is just for movie. And you know what's funny? Just the other day, Buzz Aldrin was on Conan O'Brien, and Conan was like, "Oh man, I'm so honored to have you here. I remember as a kid watching you land on the moon." And he goes, "No, you didn't." And he's like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "We didn't have TV cameras. You were watching an animation, right?" They move the globe post every time we expose them. Now you got Buzz Aldrin saying you saw an animation because we didn't have television cameras at that time.
Wow.
Right? Because their videos from then are not holding up. Like, go watch Jaws. Doesn't really hold up anymore. You're watching and you're like, wow, that scared me years ago, right? The moon landing videos don't hold up. So they're backpedaling, constantly backpedaling. And then there's been several astronauts from different countries, including, I believe it was Buzz again, said that we didn't go. We never went. A little girl was interviewing him and said, "How come we haven't gone back to the moon?" And he's like, "Well, because we never went." And that's the way it was. That's what he said, right? So they're telling us, and people, I believe that NASA could come out on Good Morning America tomorrow and go, "Hey, we've never went to the moon. We're lying. It's all a Hollywood, space is the final frontier, but it's made in a Hollywood basement." And most people in the world would not believe it. They're no. They're hiding it.
Mm-hmm.
There's aliens there. They'll just make up all sorts of excuses. It doesn't matter what you show people. You can lead a person to knowledge, but you can't make them think.
Well, you can see I've been to the moon. So I don't know I don't really know what the problem is, Dave. If I can get there, and so can everyone else. I'll tell you what, Dave, we got a couple questions coming in for you. This is from Justin Pollock in the live chat. He says, Dave, what are planets and stars?
Good question. So again, the only thing that we can truly say about any of the lights that we see in the sky, sun, moon, stars, and anything a light that's other than an airplane, planets used to be called wandering stars until we changed it. But our optics have outgrown their lives. This is the star Arcturus. Does that look like a burning ball trillions of miles away, which is also impossible to see? This is a orb of energy within our Earth system. Here's the star Capella, okay? Totally different. These are energetic. I don't know what they are, but they're not burning balls of gas in a space vacuum. That's a problem. A burning ball of gas in a vacuum. That breaks every law of thermodynamics possible, okay? The Big Bang happened and all the rocks went together and all the gases went together to make bigger balls and left a vacuum in between. That's impossible. Impossible. End of story. The whole thing is nonsense. And the only thing that Globers can say is gravity. Gravity holds them together. Gravity holds the planets to the sun. Is there any difference between the Earth's gravity and the sun's gravity other than the power of it? Gravity is gravity, right?
Yeah.
Okay. How can the sun hold on to Venus, Mercury, Earth, Mars, Saturn, hold on to all of these rocks that are such great distances away? Like if the sun was one of those yoga balls, I think the Earth is like a quarter of a mile away and it's the size of a marble, okay? And then there's everything else that's farther. How does the sun hold on to all of those? And how do they hold on to their own moons, right? And how do they stay in perfect order and repeat again and again and again? We can predict where all of these luminaries are going to be when NASA or any scientist can't predict where three bodies could be. You ever hear of the three-body problem?
No.
The three body problem is you can make a computer simulation. You say, all right, I got a sun, I got an Earth, and I set them into orbit. They got this much gravity, this size. Bam, they work perfectly. You can predict where they're going to be every day for a million years. It doesn't matter. It works perfectly. Then you add one more body, another planet or a moon, and the entire model goes into chaos mode, and no computer in the world can figure out what's going to happen next. But our solar system, we have alignments, we have eclipses, we have eclipses. Think about an eclipse. The sun is 400 times bigger than the moon, but it's 400 times farther than the moon. Therefore, they look exactly the same size. Do you know why they look the same size? Because they are the same size. Right. Wow. And then the idea that they would line up perfectly is 0.0000 more zeros to one. Okay, that's for it happening once. But guess what? There's total eclipses every year all over the world. Okay, every year they happen again and again and again. And guess what? After 18 years, the whole cycle begins again. Okay, and that's how they know when the eclipses are coming, because it's on this. It's called the Soros cycle. There's 2 cycles, and it works like a perfect clock, right? That's in a beehive heliocentric model. That's impossible. Impossible, I call it.
Well, speaking of beehives, you may not know that I am a beekeeper, so I do know something about those things. But you mentioned,
so wait, imagine your bees flying, they're flying all over the place. Would the pattern repeat?
No, not now, not ever. But you mentioned the clock, and so I got a clock queued up right here.
Very good. Let me share my screen. I'm going to show you the clock, and this is you're going to find this amazing. Is that working all right? Did we get this right?
Hang on for a second. Hang on. Yep. I think we can get it. Yeah. Right there. Perfect. Go.
So this is an app I made to bypass ScrewTube's censorship. Okay, because if you Google flat Earth, you're going to get all of their nonsense. You're not going to find the truth. And people say, "Hey, Dave, you think the Earth is flat because of some YouTube videos?" No, I think they're flat because of the research we've done and the research other people do, and they host it on YouTube and other platforms. So you watch these videos and say, "That's interesting. Let me go verify it myself." NASA says, "Hey, check this out." And hey, you'll never be able to verify it because no one's allowed in space except us, right? So the sky is a perfect clock. The sun is the hour hand, and it goes around once a day, keeps track of the hours and the time. Do you know why the sun isn't pinned to the hour hand right now?
No, go ahead.
Because we're in daylight savings time. They're lying to us, so even about the time. They're telling us it's an hour later than it is, right? That affects our body clocks. That affects everything. It's like they'd say, well, we're doing it for the farmers. That's like, hey, my blanket's too short, so I'm going to cut a foot off the top and sew it onto the bottom so my feet don't get cold. It's the dumbest thing ever, okay? So if you watch, the sun laps the moon once every 28 days. When they're opposed, 180 degrees opposed, you have a full moon, and as it comes around, the moon will wane and it gets closer. So the moon keeps track of the weeks and the months, all right?
Right.
And it works in like a perfect clock. If I turn on the stars, if I turn on the stars do the same thing, but they're going slightly faster than the sun, where they lap the sun once every 365 days. Interesting. So right now, the sun was in the Tropic of Cancer, and now it's moving into Leo. It'll work its way through Leo, and then in a month later, it'll be in the next one. And that's how, when they say the sun is in the tropic of whatever, that's what they mean, because they spin together, but the stars outrun the sun. So this is how seasons work. And then I'll just show you another thing, and then I'll just jump back out. You got these 3 circles here. The inner circle is the Tropic of Cancer. That's when the sun is over the Tropic of Cancer. That's the height of our inner northern summer. When the sun's out over the Tropic of Capricorn, that's when the outer southern lands have its summer, and that's like in December. The equator's in the middle. So right now you can see the sun it's on its way out already. It was here June 21st, and it turned around and went out. It takes 6 months for it to go out. I'll jump forward to August, September, October, November, December. And now it's over the Tropic of Capricorn. and the outer southern lands are having their summer. Look, it goes right over Australia. So in December, that's when they're having their summer, and it's hot there. You know why it's hot there? Because the sun's right over their head, right? But it's lower in the sky for us because we're looking out, and it's farther away, and it's lower in the sky. And that's why we have our short days. That's why it's cold, because the sun is farther away. If you and I were sitting outside in the snow and we're, 15 feet apart, and somebody was holding a big heat lamp directly over you, you'd be like, it's warm. That's my summer sun. And I'd be looking at that heat lamp. It's like way over there, and it's lower in the sky than me. Well, it's winter for where I am. Then they move it over to me, and you'd be like, it's low in the sky over there. It's far away. I can barely feel the heat. And I'm like, it's summer. That's exactly how it works. The whole tilt of the Earth doesn't make any sense. And so the big argument people have is, well, if it was going out over here, over the Tropic of Capricorn, it would have to be going faster. Guess what? It is going faster. Okay, just like the outer part of this hand is going faster and the inner part is going slower. It goes around. And the one way you can tell this is at certain times of the year in the outer south, when the sun sets. Where are you located? What state?
Indiana.
Indiana. So in June and July, when the sun sets, how long is it light for?
June and July. I mean, it's 9, maybe even 10.
Yeah, it's light, but after sunset, it's light for an hour and a half, sometimes close to 2 hours. It's still light.
Oh yeah.
In the outer south, at certain times of the year, when the sun is whizzing, it sunsets pitch black in 5 minutes. Why is that? Because the sun is running away. The sun is running away. And think about this: Arctic in the North Pole is in the center. Well, that's the Arctic. What is the sun doing when you're in the Arctic, the inner north? It's arcing around us. Arctic. If you're out here in the outer southern lands, what's the sun doing? It's not going around you. It's coming toward you and antarcing away from you. Antarctica. They're telling us about the sun.
Okay, good.
And if you observe the sun, like in Norway and northern Alaska in June and July, it never gets far enough away from those inner ones, so it's in the sky and it's circled. You can watch it go all the way around. But in the south, there's no 24-hour sun. They want to tell you there is, but there isn't. Now, there is light. There's a difference between daylight and sunlight. We have videos to show you that. So here's the challenge I have for people. If people are still not listening to me, I'm offering 3 Bitcoins for 1 proof of the globe. Not 10 proofs, not 3 proofs, 1 proof of the globe. And what you do is every day there's a new video, longer ones on the weekend, shorter ones during the day, during the week. And you just click this thumbnail, bam, up comes YouTube, up comes the video, watch the video. These are videos that YouTube will not serve you. And do it for 2 weeks. And at the end of that 2 weeks, if you still think the Earth is a globe, 1, you weren't paying attention. But 2, before you send me your proof, you have to hit the question mark. And up comes playlists. Like, hey, what about eclipses? Why the lie? What about gravity? What about seasons, which we just talked about? If I hit what about eclipses, up comes a playlist that YouTube will not serve you. They don't want you seeing these videos. Okay, and they're still on YouTube. People are like, why don't they take them down? They can't take everything down. They can't really break our free will, although they're really, really trying. But this is how you learn. And then again, these are all things that you can verify yourself. It also has. I talked about advanced civilization. Bottom right hand corner, mud floods to Taria. You know that our transcontinental railroads weren't built; they were excavated out of the mud. What's going on there? What happened? Okay. My channel, DITRH, very short videos. For those of you like, oh man, let me watch something. You don't want to watch a 5-hour video? Go to my channel. Most of my videos are under 5 minutes. Or maybe even all of them are under 5 minutes. I'm not sure.
Wow.
Our interview will be right here under interviews. If you want to see more of my interviews, there's all sorts of stuff. But if you click the middle button here, the lost history of flat Earth, bring food and water because you're done. Your globe days are finished and you'll watch that. Your head will explode. But one good thing is you will never have a bored moment again in your life because there'll be so many rabbit holes open. You will always be researching. So again, all sorts of stuff. There's books in here. There's all sorts of stuff. The app's called the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. I don't want to say it's how I support myself. I quit my job because it can support me. right? And the main reason is I want people to have this. It's only for it's not for computers. It's only for iOS. You need an iPhone 6 or better, or an iPad. And Android, you need operating system 8.0 or higher. If you're unsure, the app's $3. If you're unsure, just go read the reviews on either store. It's the highest rated app in both stores, and the reviews will turn you into a flat earth.
Well, it is one nice app. I looked very closely at that, Dave, and it is amazing how you put this together. I mean, the researcher there, you've got like a central depository of information, and I think that this thing that you said in the opening here, and that is that they control us because we let them control us. They control 100%. Information because we let them control information. We got to get our own information to find out what the truth is. And I know that the government's lying for a long time. Let's get back to a couple more questions come flooding in here. Yes. Now, we kind of addressed this already, but maybe we'll go over it one more time. Baby Wolf in the UK says, Dave, did we go to the moon? But Dave, I've never got anybody to tell me on this show who was taking the picture of the limb blasting off the moon, hitting the mothership. So this little bitty capsule made like aluminum foil. This thing shoots up, but somebody's still on the moon taking the video. And then one guy said, "Well, it's a motion detecting camera." And I'm thinking, wait a minute, did they? And it follows. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, who put that out there? Because when that guy jumped out of the limb, somebody was there filming him. So that would be the first person on the moon, right?
I was watching a video, and I think I'm featuring it on the app in the next few days, where there was an old newsreel about the moon and the moon missions, and it talked about how they take this video. It was either on the moon or just something in space, and then it transmits the information back to Earth, and then they carefully analyze it. But when they showed them analyzing it, they were analyzing acetate film. So they transmit it digitally back to Earth, and then they burn it into acetate film. It's because people didn't even know what digital was back then. Okay, you don't take a digital image and turn it into acetate film. You take that, and if it's digital, you use it digitally. It's very interesting that a NASA advisor, NASA astronaut, sci-fi author, a Stanley Kubrick movie director, and the senior administrator of NASA were all together in Hollywood just before the moon missions. Okay,
sounds like an early version of Bohemian Grove. All right, another question, Dave, are you religious?
No, I am not religious. I believe that religions are here to divide us even more. I believe that everybody has, I believe in a creator. I didn't before I discovered the Earth was flat, because it's not the shape of the Earth, it's the creation. The Earth is created. A less spectacular creation would be a tornado going through a junkyard and building a MacBook Pro. That would be less spectacular than this place being an accident. Okay, there is a creator. This world is intelligently designed. Therefore, there is a creator. Religions are here to separate us. And some people get really upset about that. But there is good things. If your religion connects you with the creator, that's fantastic. That's all you need. Okay. But most religions pigeonhole you, and they like the Catholic religion has been taken over by these mega churches, and these are your new gods. They're not. They're nonsense, and they turned it into a business.
Okay, let's get some more questions. What Gary Kidwell says, Dave, what about the railroad tracks?
So you gotta you have to look into Tartaria and mudfloods. There was a cataclysm in the late 1800s that happened and reset our world, right? There's buildings in every city all across the plain where they're mud flooded buildings. There's windows looking into the ground. What happened? Why are they underground? Why are there windows underground everywhere? And these buildings, we look at these incredible castles and stuff that were built when people had horses and buggies. Go back, check out we can't build these things today, but they built them with horse and buggies back then. Nonsense. Our biggest cranes can't build these buildings that they tell us were built in the 16, 17, even 1800s. Go look at the World's Fair.
It's the same thing with the moon. I mean, in the 60s, somehow we had the tech to to go to the moon all kind of times, but we've not been back for 40 years. It's like, I'm not sure they got it. And of course, there's always a thing where they say, well, we lost the plans to the air conditioner, so we don't know how to put an air conditioner on an astronaut's back. I mean, this on and on with this goofy stuff.
It's too painful to bring it to build it back again. That's what they say.
Too painful. Okay, let's get another question for you. From Australia, Ben says, "Hi Dave, can you please put up the Buzz Aldrin on Conan clip?"
I have that on my YouTube channel, DITRH. It's one of the newest videos. I think it's up there. It was also featured on the app the last few days. So if you go to the app and do it, I can't really share it right now, but just look up Buzz Aldrin Conan. You'll probably find it yourself. But I put it together pretty good, I think, pretty well on the app. Let me just I'll check that. Hit me with the next question, and we'll see where we go from there.
All right.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's it. Oh, you want to go to the next question?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. While we're waiting for that, if you can, I may have a real quick video here. Let's see what we got here. Put this.
Oh, I got it. I can bring it up. You want me to share it?
Hang on.
It's a minute and 49 seconds.
Sure, go ahead. I think we got time for it. Go ahead.
All right, so let me. I think I have to share with sound. So I say share. Oops. Share with sound on, and I pull up the. There it is. Is it up?
It is up, and let me get it where it needs to be. Looks like we're on a YouTube channel here of some sort.
Yeah. It's my YouTube channel, DITRH. Ready?
Got it. And it needs to be okay. Audio's coming through.
I remember very clearly. I think anybody who was alive at the time does. I remember my parents waking me up, and we went down and we watched you guys land on the moon.
No, you didn't.
What?
Because there wasn't any television. There wasn't anybody taking a picture. You watched animation. So you associated what you saw with.
I have very hazy memories.
I know.
Well, no. What we saw was we all were gathered around the old curved top radio and listened.
Talking about how many feet we were going to the left and right, and then I said contact light, engine stop.
It was
a
exciting.
few other things, and then Neil said, Houston, Tranquility Base, the Eagle has landed.
This was
Man, how about that?
That was very exciting.
Not a bad line.
Yeah.
Not a bad line.
What?
Because
Wow.
there wasn't any television. There wasn't anybody taking a picture. You watched animation. You watched animation. You watched animation. You watched animation.
Wow.
There you go.
All right. Well, let's see if you can switch that back. Seems like I never seen that clip, so that's the first for me. That's all kind of fun.
Yeah, I mean, and there's more and more. There was a Polish astronaut, a Russian astronaut that said, we never went to the moon. No one's ever been to space. And then these guys just disappear. Like these guys can't whistleblow. Some of them just can't lie anymore. and the problem is, there's probably serious consequences, for doing such a thing. I think it was Polish or no one. I haven't really looked that hard, but since he made the comment that I assure you no one's been to space, and I assure you the Earth is flat, he said. No one. I haven't seen him. I haven't seen him anywhere.
Okay, let's see if we got another question coming in here. Are you related to Houdini, Eric Weiss?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Check why you're pulling up another question. They got a fresh lemon on the space shuttle on the space station. Watch, it's not real. It's CGI.
Oh.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So right there, we didn't go to the moon. All of it's fake. Why are they faking floating things in space? Why are they faking guys floating in the background when you can see their harness and the wires? Okay. Why are they faking it? And the Glober's answer is, they have the harness on to be safe. What?
I don't even know if I believe that one.
Their answers are the dumbest answers ever. The globe, people say flat Earth is stupid. I can't think of anything dumber than the globe Earth model. It is the dumbest thing on Earth. It is so stupid that people can't see it. It's unreal. Many people can't see it. Millions are waking up. Millions and millions and millions, thanks to shows like you that are willing to take a look.
Oh yeah,
Again,
and that's what
everybody.
Yeah,
Do not believe anything I say. Do not believe. Go verify it yourself. I'm giving you the tool. The Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app is the tool. Even if it wasn't my app, that's what I'd be talking about right now, because that is the best way to learn about Flat Earth. If you're a flat earther, give it to your friends, because you'll turn them into flat earthers.
And as you can see, I pulled this off your website, and I know it's out there. But now, for just coming back from the moon, they don't seem all that excited that they just that they created history here and the largest human event ever.
The global answer is they were tired. They're shy. They're not public people, right?
Yeah.
These guys are being forced to lie. I believe that they were probably brought in believing they were going to go. Then Gus Grissom's like, we can't even communicate from the launch pad to the other building. How are we going to talk to people at the moon? He hung the lemon on the on the rocket, and then he died in an oxygen fire right on the launch pad to give all. It's like, hey, anyone else tries this crap, this is what's going to happen to you.
Yeah,
Okay?
that was shocking coincidence right there. All right, here's a question from Constant Companion. It says, Dave, how is knowing that the world is flat will destroy governments?
Because the only control the government has is in your mind. So they have you spinning out of control, lost in space, thinking that there is nothing else. We're running out of water. We're not running out of water. We're running out of food. That's ridiculous. You can stick a seed in the soil, water will fall out of the sky, and food will grow. There's enough food for everybody. I lived in this little tiny lot. I was renting a place. I built a garden. I fed my entire neighborhood with this 2 5-by-10-foot boxes I built. Okay, unlimited food, unlimited energy. They're lying to us about fossil fuels. That's ridiculous. Oil is abiotic. We don't even need to burn oil. There's such other free energy technology here. This entire system we live in is a battery. What do you mean it's a battery? It's a battery where the Earth is negative charge, the ceiling, whatever you want to call it, is the positive charge, and there's free energy everywhere in between. The sun and the moon are the anode and the cathode of the system. The salt water carries the current. The land is the salt bridge. It's a free energy system. When you come off the ground, a meter off the ground, there's 100 volts of electricity. Not a theory, it's a fact. Tesla proved it at the World's Fairs. He was pulling electricity out of thin air. Okay, and JP Morgan, and was like, you can't do that. How are we going to bill people? They can't have free energy, and they crushed Tesla. 2 meters, 200 volts. 3 meters, 300 volts. Follow it up. There's unlimited energy right here, right in front of us.
Okay, I got another question back.
So wait, the last thing is, so if everyone woke up tomorrow and goes, you know what, they're hiding this from us. They're hiding our true divinity. They're hiding our true power. They're trying to make us do stuff for them, for their benefit. They're trying to whatever. All you have to do is say no. If everyone said no together, then they'd be done. We wouldn't even know who the governments were because nobody would hear them, right? Nobody would. More people would listen to me than the governments. More people listen to me right now on your show than what government? They'd be finished. But they know that. That's why this is their biggest secret. The way they get away with all of this nonsense, they have people spinning out of control, lost in space, not knowing who they are, not knowing where they are, and more importantly, not knowing the true power. They don't want you in a position where there's no denying the creator. Going to the Bible, I'm not a Bible guy, my co-host is. There's a verse in the Bible that says, once you see my creation, the earth, there's no more denying my existence. There's no, once you see the creation, that's what I saw. I'm like, wow, there's a creator. Now, who that creator is, that's your own personal journey. Have it, enjoy it, find it, right? Lift yourself up, figure it out, right? And you're, our Christians might have a different journey than Buddhists, than people that believe in the Quran or whatever. It's fine. Just don't get pigeonholed.
Well, and I hope that the people watching this program right now understand there's this interview is multifaceted. It's labeled as a flat Earth conversation, but there's deeper conversations going on that's weaving its way through this, and I hope people are picking up on that. All right, let's get to another question here. This is from Snake Jones. And by the way, if you want to send a question in for David Weiss, go to The chat, if you're watching our program on the website, it's on the left upper part. If you're watching us on our YouTube channel, it's on the right lower, and both of those are the same. So from Snake Jones, it says, Dave, where can I get some of that hot sauce?
Yeah, I make flat earth hot sauce. Come to Flattoberfest. I'm bringing a couple cases there. And in South Carolina, we're in Spartansburg, South Carolina, October 22nd, give or take. We're having a conference. If you're anywhere near it or far and you can make it there, there's going to be hundreds and hundreds of flat earthers there. Most amazing people, most amazing conversations, new friends for life. Because when you become a flat earther, you're going to lose some friends. Okay, you're going to lose some family members, very likely. Absolutely. But that's okay. They'll come over eventually. Right? But once you see flat earth, you'll never go back to the ball because it's the dumbest thing ever. Dumb. So dumb that I can't believe I ever believed
Well,
it.
Dave, the government tells me the world is round and I need a vaccine shot. Should I believe it?
Yes. God bless Dr. Fauci. He knows everything. The CDC, the World Health Organization, God bless them. Everybody listen to what they say, do what they say, because they're always right. This is on YouTube. I'm being very careful at what I say because we don't want this taken off of YouTube.
Okay. All right.
You understand where I'm coming from?
Oh, yeah. In fact, I've got a conversation coming up with a certain doctor. I won't mention the name, but I'm going to make an agreement with them in the beginning. We're going to reframe the word COVID. We're going to call it something else in the conversation, and I'm going to test out the algorithms, see exactly how smart the AI, those stupid boys over at YouTube are really.
I believe the AI can spell, so be careful.
Oh, crap. The man got me just now. So here we go. All right. Anyway, Australian Ben is back with another question. It says, Dave, does your flat Earth model include the concave Earth encapsulation sphere as shown in Stephen Christ's video?
Yeah, so Stephen Christ, he thinks he's Jesus Christ, who's now in jail. He is awesome at computer graphics. Awesome. The problem with the concave Earth is there's no curvature. On a ball, there'd be curvature this way, and a concave Earth, there'd be curvature this way. There is no curvature, period. But Stephen is awesome and has a cool voice and a great microphone and is awesome at computer graphics. Concave Earth is not a thing. It's not happening. Water doesn't stick to the inside of a ball or to the outside of a ball. Water, large bodies of water at rest, lay flat and need a container. Air pressure needs a container. Pressure means it's in a container. Okay? If you have a tank of gas, at the bottom, it's going to be more dense. At the top, it's going to be less dense. Just like here. We have the thickest air is in the lowest parts, but up on the top of Mount Everest, the air is thin because it's just a pressure gradient, but pressure needs a container. Outside of a ball doesn't have a container. Now, the inside of a ball, thinking about it, that would work for the air pressure. Sounds great, but there is no curvature, so we're not inside a ball.
All right. The bear that does our bear report on our program says, what about the Northern Lights?
Yeah, so there is a lot of, as I was talking about, there's a lot of electricity in the air, and they're at the center of our world. They don't let us fly over the North Pole, is a magnetic force. So the magnetic force is, mixing with the ions in the air, and it creates, it's kind of like the Northern Lights work on a globe Earth and on a flat Earth because the magnetic force is coming out of the north. So the only difference is on a spinning ball Earth, we'd all be dead.
Okay, we'd all be dead. Simple as that.
Yeah.
What about underneath the Earth? What if the Earth is flat? What is underneath?
Yeah. So the deepest hole ever dug is called the Great Borehole in Russia, and it's just short of 8 miles. This may or may not be that hole, but it's a deep hole, and they used ground penetrating radar when they were digging, and guess what? They were wrong every step of the way. They're like, all right, there's no more water. Bam, they hit water. All right, there's no more rocks. Oh, they hit rocks. All right. They were wrong the whole step of the way. They got down short of 8 miles. Let's round up 8 miles. And then they couldn't go any farther because they couldn't drill through a barrier. There was an impenetrable barrier, too hot, too tough. Nothing could go through it. They tried for years. Okay. So To put it in scale, if the Earth was an apple, they drilled halfway through the skin, maybe halfway through the skin, a quarter of the way through the skin. And they were wrong predicting what was in that skin. But somehow they know what the next 4,000 miles is going to be. Okay? That's pseudoscience. This is a meme. You were brought up on a meme. This is not real. But people say, oh, well, what about lava? Well, lava doesn't come from the center of the ball, and come up through cracks. Lava is formed electrically. What do you mean electrically? I was telling you that the sun and the moon are the anode and cathode. The Earth is a big capacitor, and it gets there's electrical currents throughout the Earth in certain areas, more like Hawaii, more so than most. And there's things called lava tubes. There is no such thing as a cone-shaped mountain spewing lava out of the top. Yes, there are cone-shaped mountains shooting ash and smoke. That's a whole other thing. Look into Tataria and what those really are. But lava goes sideways through these lava tubes. But when you have electricity shooting through the Earth, it melts rocks. Here's some rocks in a container. They use electricity, and they turn them into lava. Electricity, okay? So that's what it is. And then sometimes there's a break and they come up through the air. And sometimes, it'll come up and it'll form a hill and a hill and a hill and a hill. And it'll be coming out of the top of the hill going down. So you got this cone-shaped hill. It's about 12 feet, 20 feet tall. And then they take a picture of it kind of at night with the lava coming down, and they make you think it's a mountain. There are no giant mountains spewing lava out of the top. When I heard that, and that was actually like in the last couple of years, I was like, yes, there are. I've seen it a million times. You've seen it in movies. You've been misrepresented on the news that, that cone without any scale, you don't realize it's only 20 feet tall.
All right. Justin Pollock says, Dave, are the ice walls curved? A flat ball is a disc, or am I just going too far?
You're not understanding. So you got to remember that that large bodies of water at rest lay flat. I showed you how the sun oscillates in and out, keeping that melted area, right? And by the way, the way they tell us the ball Earth is during the Antarctica should be warmer than the Arctic, because during its summer, it is closer. During its summer, it's closer to the sun than we are during our summer. So it would be warmer, but Antarctica is literally the coldest place on Earth, and that's because the air never gets out there. So people are brainwashed because of Game of Thrones. It's not an ice wall. It's the shoreline of Antarctica. It's the shoreline of our world. And there's not a whole lot of videos of it, but here's one, and there's pictures. People say, the Globers say, show me a picture of the ice wall. Just Google it. That's one thing that Google will
Just Google it.
Yeah, that will serve you. But here's the shoreline. Now, there's areas where there's rocks and it's not an ice wall, but most of it is just this ice cliff. It's like 100, 200 feet high. You watch a ship next to that. It's really small. And this is the extended plain of Antarctica. What's out there? We don't know. Maybe there's more land.
So Dave, I'm on the ocean and on the shoreline, and I'm watching the ship, and I'm seeing it slowly disappear.
Yeah, it looks like that. See, this is something they don't teach in school. It's the angular resolution limits of your eyes. Look, there's no boat here. There's no boat here. I'm zooming in, which is equivalent to, the boat coming towards you. And look, right there. What's that? That's a boat. So watch, I'm going to zoom all the way in on this boat. Now, there's different things that make it go away. The angular size, the waves, the closer waves, and the smaller boat in the distance. So now, but the boat's going away. I'm zooming out, same thing.
Right.
And look, the bottom half of the boat's gone. It's all the way up. It's going up to the window. Look, the boat's gone, and just the mast is there, and then the whole thing's too small. You can't see it. You think it went over. But we've done this many, many, many times. This is one of the things that I tested myself. I said, all these things, we could see too far. And we went out, I bought a $1,000 camera tripod and went, and I started like, okay, there's a buoy off of my beach that's 11 miles away. So I'll round down, give the globe the advantage. 10 miles away, there should be 66 feet of curvature. That's their globe math. Now there's debunking sites like Snopes or I can't even say the guy's name, whatever, that say, oh, no, you have to split that because both, the viewer and the thing are halfway down and the bulge is in the middle. So that would mean there's 33 feet. That's nonsense, but I'll give it to them. 33 feet. The buoy's only 10 feet high.
Right.
I sat down at the water's edge, I zoomed in, I could see the buoy, and I could see the surface of the water for dozens of miles beyond it, where there should be hundreds of feet of curvature. Do it yourself. Verify it. There's also all sorts of optical effects. Look at this. This is the mirror line right here. This is not the horizon. This is a mirror line. Everything above this is mirrored below it. It's just a miraging effect. Okay, there's so many things that affect how far you can see.
Hey, Dave, didn't science just come out and say that we may not have a molten core?
Probably. They also said that the atmosphere goes out beyond the moon. Okay. Well, if that's true, everything else they've taught us is wrong. Recently, they said, well, maybe the radius of the Earth, the line from the center, if this is the radius of the Earth, from the center to the top, when you go like that, there's your curvature. Well, if the radius is longer, then everything changes. Every planet size changes. The distance of the sun changes. The distance of the moon, the size of the moon, everything changes. They don't know what the radius is. No one knows what the radius is. So without the radius, there's no space travel. There's nothing. Nothing. Here is a time lapse over a bay that doesn't have tides. Look, the beach is gone. The buildings are gone. It totally disappears, and then they come back. This is an atmospheric phenomenon, unless the land is going up and down and shrinking. Here, the buildings, right?
Yeah,
this is an atmospheric phenomenon. There is no physical horizon. And on the debate channels, the globe zealots, shills, whatever they are, they've admitted there is no physical horizon. No physical horizon? That is an optical horizon? They are fighting, grasping for their ball, because nobody likes having their ball taken away.
All right, and for those of you who watch the program on our newsmaker line we have tonight via Zoom is David Weiss. We're talking about flat Earth. And Dave, I think it's probably time we check in with our poll. As everyone knows, we have a poll question related to tonight's show on the left side of the website. And all we're going to do is pull it up. Got all kinds of things going on here. All right, let's check the latest data. And is the Earth flat? And here's the results. Dave, you made an impact on the program. Flat as a pancake, 59%. Round as a ball, 23%. Still researching, 6.3%. And 4% says ask Truman. And then 4% says wait till after the show. And somebody said there's wow, that was a complete shift. Because a while ago, in the first hour, we took a look at this poll. We were evenly split. Dave, you're making an impact with some of your facts.
Somebody in the chat just asked, what about Elon Musk? Let me tell you about Elon Musk. Everything he's told you is a lie. He didn't start PayPal. He didn't start the solar company. He doesn't even run these things. The car company. He has nothing to do with it in reality. SpaceX is just complete fake X. It's nonsense. If you look, people don't even realize. People are like, what do you mean it's fake? You can't just say it's fake. They're using CGI. They're using blimps. They're using all sorts of things. Let me just show you this. This is a SpaceX rocket, okay? This is what they want you to believe is going on. This is a test flight they had, right? Right? And they show you different angles. They're always cutting. And look at this thing. This is CGI, a balloon, a combination. Look at this thing. This is nonsense. Now, look, we have a side view here. Think of the angle that the camera is seeing that. Look at the angle the camera is seeing it. Then when you watch the onboard one, how can we have that angle at that height? Okay, now this thing is going to fall back to Earth and land upright. Land upright with this little engine. Watch, it's falling back. Now look how fast it's falling. Look at the smoke. The smoke is barely moving, right? This thing is free falling. It's 40 tons. 40 tons falling. Look at the smoke. It's barely moving, okay? This is either CGI or filled with helium. NASA, look how high it is now, okay? This is all in real time. This is falling. Now watch it. This is going to be amazing. It's going to turn. It's got 3 engines. 2 of them are going to go out, and it's going to land right where it took off beautifully. Now look how high it is again. Ready? Here come the engine burns. Let me ask you this question. How did the guy film this from underneath? Okay? Look at this shot. Okay? This is a Hollywood production. Watch.
That there is definitely whacked.
Yeah. So look, the 2 of the engines went out. Look how slowly it's moving, right? 40 tons. Now look at it. CGI smoke. This is CGI smoke. All fake. None of it's real.
Yeah, it was a little late coming on too. It was mistimed.
Yeah. And look at it. It's landing crooked.
Oh, we got to straighten that out.
It's nonsense. They want you to believe this is real. Okay? There's worse ones than this. Worse. right?
You know, that reminds me, that's another question I've always had. How back in the 60s, if we supposedly landed on the moon, did that limb land on the moon with a single rocket? Now, that I don't think they had the tech to do that. And it had to
Low
have enough
gravity,
fuel.
It's much easier. It's much easier with low gravity. You know,
Oh,
you're
okay.
not in space. You can't prove it. You know, the globe cocks. Sorry if that's a swear word. Are disgust me. They disgust me.
Well, I mean, you just described a rocket, so it's not really a cuss word. All right, let's get to another question. Kingfisher says, Dave, how about the AM, FM radio signals? Now, that proves there's a round Earth.
Well, absolutely not. The Earth is flat. Why can't we transmit forever? And the answer is because radio waves can't go forever, but they can bounce them off of the ionosphere, the dome, okay, and get them farther. They also, you know, we've done tests with lasers, with mirror flashes, with microwaves. Microwave transmitters admit there has to be line of sight, and they're going, I forget the distances, hundreds of miles, whatever. You know, submarines at the bottom of the ocean, most of the bottom of the ocean is the abyssal flat or abyssal strait or whatever. They can use sonar to see other submarines over 100 miles away. At 100 miles, there should be a mountain of dirt between them, 6,600 feet high. And somehow they can send out sonar. It climbs over the mountain, goes over, hits the submarine, climbs over the mountain, comes back and goes, yes, there's a submarine over there. No, it's going straight. It's hitting the submarine. It's coming back. Same thing on the surface. 100 miles away, they can put a pinpoint laser beam on a target where there should be a mountain of water over a mile tall.
Well, Dave, I'm having a lot of fun talking to you. Now, seems how you got some answers that's rarely been heard. What happened to the unrelated, just a personal question between me and you and nobody, everybody else watching, go ahead, tune out. I want to ask you. So, what happened to the dirt from the Grand Canyon as it emptied into the Gulf of Mexico?
Great question. I believe that the Grand Canyon was made in hours, and it was done by a plasma event. Okay, there's Egyptian ruins in the Grand Canyon that are off limits to anybody. Okay, what's going on there? It's not the whole story of the Grand Canyon, the whole story of everything, all of our geography. It's all nonsense. These gold mines, not from the gold rush, the 1800s, nonsense. There was an advanced civilization there. There's video of moving sidewalks, right? There's video of men 15, 20 feet tall, okay? Right? That's just the beginning of the deception. The rabbit hole is so deep that most people are afraid to look down it, okay? So what I say is get the app. It's $3. There's a subscription in the app for 99 cents a month. You don't have to get it. Just exit out. There's no ads, nothing. It goes away.
Well, Dave, I'd say the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
That's the most true statement ever made, because even the world is a stage, said by William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare never existed. He's the one saying the world is a stage. Everything is a stage. There's layers on top of layers on top of lies on top of more lies. Everything's a lie. Figure it out yourself. The only thing that doesn't lie to you is nature. Go out in nature, hug a tree.
Okay, well, let's get some tree hugging here tonight. All right, Overbuilt Automotive says, Dave, tell us why pilots do not fly in straight lines.
They do fly in straight lines. You know, so if you look at the flight routes, southern flight routes prove the Earth is flat. I mean, and the other thing that gets them is emergency landings. Check this out. Whoops, I ruined it already. So check this out.
Okay.
From Taiwan to LA, and Hawaii is right here. This is the route they tell you that it's going, and makes perfect sense. Well, right here, there was a medical emergency and the plane needed to land. Well, the closest spot would be Hawaii. Next closest spot would be California, where it's going. But instead, they went 1,000 miles or more, whatever, a couple thousand miles out of the way to Alaska. Why did they go to Alaska? Because if you plot that same course on a flat Earth, Taiwan, emergency, Alaska. Hawaii is all the way out here, okay? This is the real route. Plane routes prove flat Earth. There's a book, 16 emergency landings that prove flat Earth. Every single one of them, the plane went crazy out of the way, but then if you draw a straight line from the origin to the destination, where they landed is right on that line or very close to that line, okay? And that, how many coincidences do you need? And there was just another emergency landing where one of the crew had some sort of blood clot issue, maybe because of who knows what, and they had to land proving flat Earth. Okay, proving flat Earth again. That's being featured on the app in the next couple of days. It'll be on there again.
Well, I tell you this.
Read the reviews. Go read the reviews.
I'll tell you this, Dave. That's a great book, and you got a great app going there. But next time I take a plane flight, I'm going to ask the pilot if he got something
in the app. Click the "What about pilots" button, and there's tons of pilots that admit that yes, they do. All pilots say they don't nose down, except one shill that's out there, full time, just trying to debunk flat Earth, and he says he does nose down. Nobody noses down. The flight manual, CIA documents, FBI documents, FAA manuals, they all talk about, they model everything on a flat, non-rotating plane. A flat, non-rotating plane. We have tons of videos showing all of these documents. Okay, a flat, non-rotating plane. Does that sound like a spinning ball in a space vacuum? A fantasy ball in a crazy space vacuum? If once you start seeing these flight routes, especially, that will change everything. That'll change your view on what's going on.
Okay, and for those of you just joining the program, on our newsmaker line is David Weiss. If you have a question about flat Earth or any of the other things we're discussing tonight, just put them in the live chats and the website there.
One more thing. If you want to, here's the flight route from Santiago to Australia. But if you want to go to Western Australia, you go all the way up to the United States, all the way over to China, Singapore, and down. This is the route they take. Why would they do that when they could just cut across the bottom of a ball, right? This would be, you're there, or just go around Antarctica because we don't want to disturb the penguins, okay? Right? But if you look at it on a flat Earth map, if you want to go to Western Australia, remember I said it goes all the way up, all the way over. This is what it looks like on a flat Earth map. Here you go. You got Santiago up across United States, China, Singapore, Western Australia. Does that look like pilots fly in a straight line? Absolutely does. Okay? Absolutely does.
Okay, and for those watching the program, if you've got a Stumper question, send us your best Stumper question to prove Dave wrong right here in this program tonight. We are going to expose this fraud and get him. So if you want to get him, put the question in the live chat, and Jade will send it to us in here. Let's try to trip him up if we can.
You could try.
And okay, Dave, let's go to another question. This from Teflon Coat says, Dave, why when flying from LA to Tokyo, the plane flies north then south? Isn't it a shorter distance and knocks 23 hours off the flight? And he wants his Bitcoin for that question.
Is he defending flat Earth? What's the question?
Well, let's see. Why when flying from LA to Tokyo, the plane flies north then south? It's shorter distance and knocks 23 hours off the flight.
So hold on. So wait, LA over here.
Okay.
To Tokyo. And what's the question? Read it again.
Okay, yeah. When flying from LA to Tokyo, the plane flies north, then south because...
Check it out. So here's the North Pole. Ready? Follow my hand. North, 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 west, south, 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 south. I'm in Tokyo. Okay? That's how it works. You have to understand how directions work. Here's the north. The needle's pointing to the north. East and west are circles. Okay? I'm pushing this west, and it's got to go around to maintain that direction. That's the same on a globe, same on a flat Earth. That doesn't prove the Earth is flat. So when you're heading toward, every straight line is south, eventually. If I go north, 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 now I'm going south, 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 south. South is every direction away from the center. We actually had Max Eigen. He was going, look, this is going north, 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 northwest, south, 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 south. So the fact that they go from LA to Japan, north and then south, 100% proves nothing because it's the same on a globe.
Okay, Teflon Coat, you was wanting a Bitcoin, but I don't think you earned it with that one. Try harder.
You didn't. It actually works better on a flat Earth because if you look at it on a globe, they would kind of just go west. But here's the other thing. You can go west. You can go from the United States to Japan. You can go west, you can go east, or you can go north and south. Either way will get you there. Some will just be a little bit longer. What you can't do is go from Santiago to Australia by heading south. You should be able to on a ball. You should be able to just go like from Buenos Aires to Perth. Bam, that's the shortest route. But that's not the route that they go. If you actually look at the route from Buenos Aires to Santiago to Perth, it's this. Buenos Aires, they go all the way up to Miami and then Houston or Miami or Houston. Then they stop in California. Then they stop in Sydney. Then they go over, or they go this way over the China, Singapore, and Perth, all the way over. Why didn't they just go like this? FlightAware says go this way, but they can't because this is the way the Earth is lined up. And if you went south, you're not coming back. You're not coming.
I don't know where you're going if you go south. You go somewhere. Bear says, Dave, how is the Earth suspended in space?
It's not suspended in space. Think of this. The Earth is the basement of the universe. What's below us? I think there's water below us. I think there's water above us. We are inside of a bubble, if you will. How is it suspended? I don't know. Go read the Bible. Figure it out. I don't know the answer. There's 200 verses in the Bible talking about how the Earth doesn't move. It's on a move. It's on its foundation. It's on pillars. I don't know because no one can get blown deeper than 7 miles or 7.5 miles.
Okay, and
we're not in space. There is no space. Nobody has ever been to space. Hey, we got about 5 more minutes to wrap this up, and then I gotta get ready for another show, another live show.
Sure. Okay, so we've got about 5 more minutes with Dave here. Any further questions, go ahead and put them in real quick. Somebody asked the question, is Australia larger than the UN tells us?
It very well could be. Don't know. Haven't measured it myself. People say that the Australia is stretched out on the map. I don't think we have a perfect map, but it's way better than the globe map. Anyone that has a globe in their house that thinks the globe is real, go look at the bottom, pick it up and look at the base. On the bottom, it says not for educational purposes, for decorative purposes only, right? You can't go from, South America to like Edgartown or whatever, because the flight route is insane when you look at it. If I got to pull it up as I'm talking here, it goes way up into the northern hemisphere when it should just cut across. But here it is. So if you want to go from Cape Town to Buenos Aires, this what a globe says. It should not take long, 4,276 miles, right? But they don't. They go all the way up to Amsterdam and all the way over. It takes 29 hours with a little bit of a layover. That's, if you look at that on a globe, they go all the way up to here, behind the curve, the imaginary curve, and then all the way back down. Why don't you just go zip? You don't have a map, period.
Well, we're getting near the end of the broadcast with you, Dave, and I see in the live chat, Max says, this dude is a genius. Anybody got a comment before Dave leaves about Dave or tonight's conversation, just pop it in there, make it simple and quick so we can tell Dave how people feel about this interview here. Dave, how can people get this awesome software, this clock you develop in the App Store?
It's called the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. In the Google Play Store, there's already the Flat Earth Society. It's called the Ron Media Group. They have a knockoff, same name. They stole some of my graphics, but it's horrible. If you get the app, fine. Just don't send me an email telling me my app stinks because it's not my app, right? It's by Blue Water Bay. You can scan this QR code, or you can just go to my website, theflatearthpodcast.com. The links are there. The app is $2.99. It's the highest rated app in the store. There is a pop-up that says, would you like to subscribe for 99 cents a month? And people subscribe because they want me to add more and more features. I'm adding a Find Flat Earthers feature where you can turn it on and you can see where other Flat Earthers are around you that have the app, and you can message them like, hey, we're having a meetup. Let's go. Or, hey, I'm going to the little pub over here. It's going to bring people together using their technology against us, right? And again, you can say blur my location. Don't let them know exactly where I am because I'm paranoid. The truth is, the people that you should be paranoid about know exactly where you are. They're listening to everything you're saying. This is to help Flat Earthers find other Flat Earthers. That's coming out soon. It's not available yet. Maybe in a week or two, it'll be out. We're beta testing it. and it's going to be a game changer. But the app, again, the pop-up will say, would you like to subscribe? Exit out. You can do that in less than a half a second, no ads, and then you still got everything that's in the app today.
Wow. And it is an awesome app. I mean, it has other functions too as well. And Flat Earthers, you are not alone. All right, in the live chat, just to finish this thing up, we got Dave, you are a legend. Keep on doing what you're doing. You are very creative. Vince says, we need more people like you. Another one says, love your work. Keep it up. So, and then it says, thank you, Dave. I'm totally convinced that you are totally convinced. David Weiss, can we ever have you back on the program again?
Absolutely. We can do it again, and we'll talk further, and hopefully I won't be so pressed for time. I got another live show,
problem.
which I need to help them set up. So we're going to have to end this Zoom call. I hope that doesn't screw you up if you want to keep
Not a
going
bit.
longer.
No, we're good to go.
All right. Awesome.
All right. Thanks a lot, Dave.
Thanks, everybody. See ya.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.